that's the one that I'll share. So you shouldn't show up as a big Brady Bunch when I share.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're here. My understanding is that this is just a little bit of an orientation to what we're planning on doing this fall, and I just want to encourage you to participate as you can. And I know that Christine and Greta have been working really hard to make a plan that makes a lot of sense, and yeah, a plan that's rooted in stuff that we've always been doing. There's a lot of things that are really familiar, even though obviously context is everything, and a lot of the rules and kind of the technicalities of how things happen are different. The thing that I don't know, that encourages me is that our reason for gathering is still the same, and even you know, is if you were at our back to school blessing on Sunday, it was just a reminder that joy in gathering remains kind of our core way of being. That joy and authentic connection and the ability to be community. And so the ways in which things are different remain the things that are different, but we're still seeking God together, and continuing to equip children and families with rituals that are meaningful and are rooted in Scripture and the traditions that we hold dear at Kenilworth Union Church. So that's exciting for me as we begin a year that still has a lot of uncertainty, that faith is still relevant to our daily life, and that we're doing some of the things that we've always wanted to do, which is foster family faith connections, and just really equipping families to be faithful together. So I'm encouraged by all of that, because it all seems kind of in line with what we care about deeply. So I'm gonna bless this meeting with prayer, and then I'll let Christine and Greta take over. So let us pray. God, we ask that you might bring us into this moment, even as we carry 1,000 burdens of 1,000 other moments with us from this day. Place us noticeably in one another's presence, so that we see one another, and so that we are seen and known here in this community of Kenilworth Union Church and the Church Universal. Draw us in, even after a long day. Let this meeting be one that bears your light, O God, that creates hope, that can tend to the peace of wild things that we so long for these days. Let this meeting be one where our imaginations are sparked, where we can see a way through, where we can commit again to a way of being that is near to you. Faith practices that we hold dear, even as everything feels changed and shifted and torn apart and rebuilt. Give us welcome rest, O God, and peace, an entryway into community, and let us know you in a new way, now and in the days ahead. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Katie. Let's see if my screen share will work. Can you all see that? All right. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to move fairly quickly so that we have time for questions and answers at the end. Thank you, Katie, for welcoming us all into this sacred space. and also for reminding us of our, of our vision. I'm going to talk a little bit about our priorities and then just kind of the nuts and bolts of what fall might look like. The good news is there are lots of options. And then we'll talk a little bit about how we can stay connected in a still somewhat socially distant world. And then I think, Diana's just arriving. Diana's going to talk about the ways that all of us can support children and family ministry. So that's our plan. So many of you may remember that a few years ago, before I was hired, the church embarked on a plan to create a strategic plan for children's ministry. And so I've been here 2 years, which means we are all right, there we go. Sorry. So there were things in our strategic plan that we had hoped to accomplish in 5 years, and COVID has actually just accelerated. So as Katie mentioned, creating more opportunities for family ministry. So in response to both COVID and because we have this plan, what we're going to do is create a ministry that, because we're all tired of the word pivot, I'm going to use amphibious because frog has long been our motto at Kenilworth Union, especially for children and families, forever relying on God. So we want to be able to thrive both in person and online. And so that's a little bit of what, so we have this teeter-totter, pivoting, amphibious animal. And as Katie mentioned, the reasons are so that we are equipped to practice our faith at home 24/7, that we are strengthening relationships with God and one another. And I think most importantly, making faith relevant. I don't know that there's ever been a time where people have been, well, I'm sure there has been a time, but it seems like one of those times in history where people are earnestly asking, who is God and where is God in the midst of a very complicated world, and how do we relate to God, and what is the meaning of worship and prayer and faith practice? So I think this time has some unique opportunities because our hope is in Jesus's promise that the kingdom is here and also yet to come, and there is great hope to be found even in the midst of a pandemic. So those things haven't changed. And I don't think our priorities have really shifted that much either. Safety has always been foundational for children and family ministry. And we know, just like in a regular, public school classroom, at church, in order to learn, those relationships have to be there too. That we do much better learning from one another when we know one another, when we have a relationship, when we're happy to see one another, when we feel connected and cared for. And all of this is about learning faithfully. And especially right now, I feel like we need some joy. So much is not normal. And Sunday's back to school blessing, at least for me, was an opportunity to try to see what does it like to have that joy in the midst of some uncertainty. And so that, I think that's a priority, as well as grace. We have to continue to give ourselves grace and give one another grace, because everybody's doing their best, and it's not easy, I don't think, for anyone. And we can be graceful with ourselves and one another because God is graceful to us. So I'll start with the safety sort of things, because that is our top priority. We have some online options, we have some in-person options. Online, all through the spring, we were able to maintain 2 background checked adults in all of our Zoom meetings. And thanks to many of you who volunteered to be part of breakout rooms, we also had 2 adults present in breakout rooms. So that was really great. This fall, we are in the process of hiring probably a college student or grad student who can work remotely, who would be the Zoom manager. So they'll make sure that everybody who enters our online spaces is on our roster, and they'll help the teachers who are leading the classes if they have any tech issues, and just keep everything nice and safe online. We will have some in-person options. We are going to lean heavily on outdoor space for as long as possible. And I think many of us have a newfound acceptance of wearing coats so that we can be outside. I feel like we might be able to stretch our usual season a little longer, because I, for one, know that when winter comes and I'm home a lot more, I'm going to soak up whatever of fall I can. So we'll do that. Masks are required on the entire church campus, indoors and outdoors right now. We have a registration process. Temperature checks are a part of that. And then we will, whether we're outside or inside, we will have families sitting together. Because our children come from so many different school districts, especially in the beginning of this, back to school time, we really don't want to mix the kids too much together, because we just know that doesn't serve the community well. So families will be our unit at church. And to make sure that we are creating an environment where we don't have a lot of things to touch and pass around, new this year we have faith kits. This is also a way to be environmentally responsible, so we're not handing out a bunch of disposable things every week, that families can have a kit of things that they can use. And Greta is going to share just a little bit about what those kits kind of look like.
Thanks, Christine. So we were able to order some nice Kenilworth Union bags, canvas bags, and if you order a faith kit for Godly Play, which is one pathway that's geared toward the preschool and up to first graders, you would receive in that kit an illustrated Bible, which it's not this one, but I'm just saying you'd get an illustrated Bible, and you would get the Godly Play wooden people that that go with all of the Godly Play stories. So that's that kit. And for the deeper dive kit, you get it's like a journal that is learning to study your Bible. And so you will have already earned your Bible, since you're, it's geared toward the older grades. And for the other pathway, that's, now I can't think of what it's called, the walking one.
Right. Yeah, with the walking one, and then the third grade Bible each have a kit.
So for third grade Bible, you will be receiving your Bible at the end of that. But for the class, it's nice to have a Bible just to use to look things up. And so we can all kind of be able to get onto the same page. You would receive this Bible, the Deep Blue Bible, for the third graders. And then for the walking in prayer, I can't think of what it's called. I have like a mind block. You'd receive either a journal or something that has different questions. So every time you go on your walk on Sundays, there will be a leading question and a prayer that will kind of guide the discussion as you walk. So those are the faith kits that we're recommending, and it's $25 for one of the kits, and it's just one per family. So any questions about those, you can just let me know.
Yeah, thank you, Greta. And so it kind of serves two purposes. So if we're in person, we're not passing things around that we have to sterilize. And then if we're online and all the third graders have the same Bible and they're not really good at it yet, if we know they have the same Bible, we can all turn to the same page, and we can, so it just helps everything be a little bit more consistent so that we all have the same materials. So that's a little bit about safety. This is not I blew this up too big, but it's a great picture Greta took, but it's a little fuzzy. But this is the backyard of the manse. So this will be our outdoor space this fall. So if you're not familiar with this space, if you're standing on the west side of the church building, The manse is on Warwick. So this is the back of the manse. So you're facing Warwick Avenue, but you're seeing the back of the white house that belongs to the church. That is often used for our youth gatherings. And this space can hold 40 people. And so that'll be our primary outdoor space for Sunday mornings in the fall. We do have the ability to meet inside. I am not hearing that many people are super enthused about that, and I understand, which is why we're going to meet inside as long as possible. The basement, Sunday school will have exclusive use of the basement. AJN is not using it because for their safety protocols, it's just not a space they need. And so we will have the whole basement. And so when it's opened up, it looks like this picture on the left. And to minimize traffic flow, we will come in through this new door that is it's on the Skokie Ditch side, so the north side of the church building. That door was added in 2019. And we'll do check-in and temperature checks either right outside the door or right inside the door. So that will be our primary space. If stairs are not possible, are an accessibility issue, you can certainly come through the main doors and use the elevator if it's an accessibility question. So, and we will have tables, socially distant tables, and children and their families will be sitting together at those tables for now. And so that's kind of our spaces. So this is going to grow into a really big diagram that I wish I could simplify. I need I need some I don't know. Someone knows how to do this skill? I don't know what it's called. But so this is going to be kind of the nuts and bolts of what's available on Sundays. And the primary thing to know is that we are emphasizing families together. The Illinois guidelines for houses of worship right now recommend that children remain in the care of their families while they're on church property. There's no specific age given for children. So on Sunday mornings, we're just saying no drop-offs for kids 6th grade and under in children's ministry. We are hoping to do our middle school youth group. We're working on plans on how to do that in small outdoor groups. But on Sunday mornings, families together is our key. And you have options. So you can choose worship, or you can choose faith formation, or what we traditionally called Sunday school, but that learning and growing time. So you can choose either or both of these options. The worship options for fall will be an outdoor, an online, and an in the sanctuary by reservation, so that we don't exceed our capacity. That's just a quick overview of the worship options. Then we have 2 time slots for faith formation to keep our groups small. We have 9 a.m. and both our 9 a.m. options are in person at this point. The 9 a.m. Godly Play, we would hold it outside. So it's sort of a family chapel, Godly Play story, and then response time. We would hold that in the backyard of the manse at 9 a.m. This is our prayer, is a walk. We feel as though many families, especially if you have kids on the older side, maybe this is what feels comfortable right now. Gather together at a meeting spot and read a short prayer, receive a discussion question, and then go walk with your family. And if you're comfortable walking with other families, have a discussion as you walk for 30 minutes, or walk as long as you like. There's no formal end to it. We feel like that might be kind of a grounding practice. So all 4 of these options are 30 minutes only. The reason being that if we're in person, we want to minimize exposure to COVID. So 30 minutes feels like a good amount of time. And then if we are online, attention spans being what they are and the amount of screen time our kids are getting, 30 minutes seems like plenty. So all 4 options are 30 minutes long. At 11 a.m., we will have the 3rd grade Bible and this diving deeper class that's sort of geared toward older elementary, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders and their families. And these will be hybrid. So I haven't set the schedule yet because I'm still sort of waiting to see how the start of school goes. But imagine about once a month, in person, and then 3 times a month online, maybe twice a month in person. And I'm working on that schedule next week. But like I said, I just want to see how we all get back to school first, because that's the priority in that. There is an online only option for 3rd grade Bible, and about 30 to 40% of our families that have registered are choosing that option. So all of these options, we want to give people a lot of options, and we want people to feel safe and comfortable with whatever they choose. So classes will look a little bit different. They're only 30 minutes long. So for things like 3rd grade Bible and the Diving Deeper, there will be a video that goes out ahead of time. It'll be short, 5 minutes long. Greta and I will do them. It'll be the kind of the instructional component about what we're learning that Sunday. Then the gathering time, whether it's in person or online, the gathering time will focus on building relationships between and among the kids and families, and then also doing an activity that relates to the video content. So we want it to be as interactive as possible and safely social distant. And then there will also be, for 3rd grade Bible, there's practice time at home. And we really hope that all 4 of our options help families to have some sort of practice at home, whether it's a prayer they're saying or discussion questions around the dinner table, things that already fit into full schedules, not something like extra that you add on, but that we want to have those faith practices available for families 24/7, so that you can use them when it's helpful for you. So it's kind of what we think of like the class will look like. We have a lot of more details about things in our fall catalog. I chose this image because it emphasizes choice, right? You can choose your own path this fall. And we hope that in a world where it seems like we have fewer choices, that at like Kenilworth Union, I think we have lots. So there, inside of that catalog, there's more description about the 9 a.m. options and what those look like, as well as the 11 a.m. options. And we even have a few completely asynchronous options in that catalog as well. So if you're a family that has some other thing happening on Sunday mornings, or you just want something extra, you can do some of the faith formation just completely on your own at your own pace. So that is sort of what the full, like I said, I knew this diagram was going to get so messy. That's sort of what the full flow chart looks like. But at the bottom, I've added this staying connected. So fortunately, we already have a really great newsletter that's well read, that goes out once a week. We have a great communications team at the church that manages our website. We believe we have a new database this summer, so that's been really great. And we believe we'll have some more texting ability that we haven't had before. And then we have spent a good chunk of time this summer developing an online platform for content that is for parents, so that if your child is in 3rd grade Bible and you need some activities to choose from for the memory work, that you can go to this one place and you can find it. So I'm going to say a little bit more about that. But we had some focus groups this summer. We rolled it out with smaller groups. We spent a lot of time testing it because we know that I'm a parent with a kid in high school. There's so many apps and so many logins and so many different things, and they're all really wonderful, but it can be overwhelming. So we just wanted to find something where we could put all of our content, and also have the ability for people to chat between families or with us. So we created this Connect app. So here's a little bit of a look at what Connect. If you when you register, you'll get the link to log into Connect in your confirmation email. We're not super active on it right now because we're getting registration going, but we have added some content. So on the left here, and this is if you log in on the computer, there is also a mobile app that's really great. Home is chronological, so I recommend going to Discovery, because that page is one that that Greta and I can organize and prioritize, so we're putting the information in a way that makes sense, because chronological isn't always the best way to sort information. And so we have a lot of welcome information about how to use the app. We have, these are some of our courses that we ran over the summer, but we'll update those and get them all ready for fall. And then we have sort of ongoing topics. If you're looking for anti-racism resources or prayers or anything like that, you can look there anytime. And again, you do have the ability, so let's say your child meets a friend on Zoom in their Sunday school class, and they want to, I don't know, have a Zoom play date or something. You can go on this app and find other parents. It is closed, and it's only for parents that register their children for Kenilworth Union Church. So this is a closed app. People have asked, like, could their kids use it? We're saying have the parent log in, but there's nothing on here that I don't think that isn't appropriate for children. But we're trying to, because we have such a wide range of ages, everything from 3-year-olds to 12-year-olds who have very different technological skills, we are saying this is for parents, but if you want to hand your child your phone or your tablet and say, okay, choose one of these 3rd grade Bible activities, I don't think that, they're not going to come across anything that they shouldn't be, everything should be safe. So we're really excited about this, and hope that it really enhances our ability to connect. So that's our app. I'll take a deep breath.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure, yeah.
I might have missed this, but so I see that Kenilworth Union is continuing the 8:30 service, the outdoor service. And when I've been going, I feel like it's mostly done by 9. Is the idea that people could go to that and then come to the 9 a.m. events?
The idea was, yes, you can, is the short answer. And the idea behind it was that we would have staggered entry and exit times. And we also, because we're not doing drop off, it just makes it really clear that that's, it isn't parents go to worship anymore and kids get dropped off. This is families together. So those were the 2 reasons that the times got staggered.
So we could sign up, continue signing up for the 8:30 outdoor worship service and then come to one of the 9 o'clocks. Because
Sure.
30, I feel like it's pretty much ending by around 9.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be a short walk from the Memorial Garden to the manse.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. That's a great question. And then I just have one more slide, and Diana's going to just talk about the ways that you can be involved. Many of you offered to be Sunday school teachers, and fall looks very different. Schedules look very different. So there's a big variety of ways to be involved and support children's ministry. If you have an hour or you are willing to teach every week, we have something for everyone.
Oh, thanks, Christine. So thank you for attending this meeting, everyone. It's so wonderful that you're engaged and excited, and I'm so proud, as always, about Katie, Christine, and Greta creating such a great pathway for us for this hybrid and the unknown of pivoting here and there. But I think in person to those 9 o'clock offerings and the 11 o'clock offerings that are on a rotation, welcoming families is going to be key so that they can feel like they understand where they need to be, where they need to enter, where their temperatures need to be checked. So if you are yourself engaging in those 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock opportunities in 3rd grade or the 4th through 6th grade Bible or the 9 o'clock Godly Play, just being there to welcome families would be a great volunteer opportunity. And then you can see the mailing birthday cards we thought would be fun because we can't acknowledge our kids now in person in Sunday school. Mailing birthday cards would be great. So Christine was thinking that if any of you wanted to take a monthly birthday roster, and you could, Christine, is that right? Like 20, maybe 20 people per month?
Yeah, so probably about 20 kids per month. We would provide the cards and the stamps and the addresses. So if someone, it would just be great to have some help addressing them and getting them mailed, the week or so before birthdays.
Great. The Leading Pathway classes, the 3rd grade year is somewhat taken care of, but the Digging Deeper Bible year, the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, we need some leading teachers on that. And then the nature walk that's offered at 9 o'clock at different destinations could, use a participant if you're engaged in leading that. The service projects, Virginia, I know you and Julia took that on last year. And so if you are interested again in Lawrence Hall with Julia or others, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I think Julie and I had both already committed that we were up for it. So.
Awesome.
Awesome. This summer, Christine and I and a couple of volunteers reached out with Humble Designs, which is a philanthropy that helps homeless families find, not only after they find their home, then they actually create the rooms and the furniture and everything that goes into that coming into their new house. So we created some artwork this summer, and we're going to sell note cards as we've done in the past at Kenilworth Union Church. And the theme was, what is your home? Is that correct?
Yeah, what home means to you, or yeah.
Home means to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have some note cards coming out that we're going to sell at KUC. So if any of you want to volunteer in person, when it's reasonable to either sell the note cards, or after people purchase the note cards, we have to deliver them to the people who buy them. So that's
Or
just
drop
kind of,
off, yeah.
yeah. And then registration, inviting friends to register, just like encouraging anyone you know to just register, because I think getting the word out that we have a program, that fall is happening, it looks different, but it's well thought out. Just encouraging your friends to register, and stewardship is our last thing that will come out in the next week or two. There's going to be a letter from Omni and George Wishart around stewardship, and just engaging in that and telling your friends about it will be wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you, Diana. I appreciate it. Yeah, so there is a way for almost everyone to be involved. And if you are interested in serving in one of these ways, contact Diana or contact me or Greta or Katie. We would be happy to explain more about it, or give you what you need to get started. So thank you. I'm going to stop sharing now. Well, maybe, I don't know, we might need to go back to some slides, but I'll stop sharing for a minute, and then just really allow people to ask whatever questions you have, because I know I went quickly through all of it.
Christine, can you talk a little bit more about why parents have to accompany their kids, even if their kids are older, why that's important for our safety?
Right, so that we are erring on the side of caution, and so one of the reasons is safety and following the state of Illinois guidelines for houses of worship, which are different from schools. We are, just a bit of a different thing. The other reason is that, because we're not going to be moving around in our classrooms and, outdoor space with kids very much, it's going to be really hard to be interactive and yet stay far apart. So having a parent or your parent and your brother or sister sitting next to you allows you to have a conversation partner that's already in your household, allows you to do a project together, and I hope will be a meaningful time together. We're calling it Sunday Family Faith Time, so we hope that it is a meaningful time for families, but we also recognize it's a big shift, and it's a big shift. And we know that older kids, some of our older kids are already sort of enjoying having like breakfast while watching worship with their families at home. And if that's what your family is doing and that works really well for you, we're fully supportive of that. We really, just whatever works best in this very different time.
Can I add to that a little, if you don't mind?
Sure.
So I think also, from a perspective of just Kenilworth Union Church having so many communities coming together, it's very challenging for us to contact trace or keep track of the cross-contamination as we would in, say, a Kenilworth school, Wilmette school. You've got Glencoe and all, Northfield and all these different districts coming together, and church and being so, we don't have that ability to, which I'm sure all of you are filling out as I am, the daily tracking for your children, all that, the questionnaires we have to fill out for our kids to go to school in person, if your kids are in person. Mine are. And so I just think the wherewithal for us to not have parents and families together, social distanced in one table and drop off is it's impossible right now. So I don't mean to sound gloom and doom, but it doesn't make sense given all that we're doing to be safe and practicing social distancing and following the guidelines.
Right. And I think we don't really have the same ability to create pods, or if we do create pods, they might pull from multiple school districts, and then that is kind of working against what schools are trying to do, and we support schools. Just for the record, we do have someone on our staff, it's Karen Gaynor. She is trained as a contact tracer. So if we have any exposure, she's the one that's going to guide us through all of that policies and procedures. So we are well equipped to deal with those potential situations, but we're trying to avoid them as much as we possibly can.
I have a question about the online options. So right now, I currently have my daughter enrolled for the online only for third grade, for the third grade Bible class. Two questions. One is it okay for me to join her in those Zoom meetings as I would like if we were meeting it in person, so that I can kind of see what she's working on or what she needs to work on? It's kind of question number one. And then question number two is, while it is nice outside, is there a way that would be effective to kind of convey our interest in actually joining the in-person on a given Sunday? But I want to make sure that us joining when we're not enrolled doesn't create numbers problems. Right.
No, that's a great question. So I think, yes, if you want to join the Zoom call, that would be great. I don't think, or sit next to, it's not required. I think but you would certainly be welcome. Absolutely. And then in terms of choosing between online and hybrid, I know for schools, they have different deadlines and things like that. Because we are church, we don't have to be so rigid about that. We just have to be mindful of, we'll probably end up with two groups of third graders, and we want them to get to know each other. We'll have an online group and a hybrid group, at least. Maybe it'll get divided up even, just kind of depends on how the registration goes. But so we could potentially have kids, be outdoors as long as possible and then move online if that's most comfortable for them. That's certainly okay. The only thing would be those groups would get a little bit shuffled, and so they might have to get to know some other kids, and I think we can work with that. So
okay. And by the way, the back to school blessing was lovely. You guys did a fantastic job.
Thank you. It was so exciting to be able to gather together. We were holding our breath because you never know about weather and all kinds of things, but thank you for being there.
And you could really feel your enthusiasm, and I think that was just wonderful. So thank you for the palpable enthusiasm.
Thank you. Yeah, and go ahead. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Christy Bennett has her hand up for a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was wondering if you guys could speak to like the parental responsibility or role in the diving deeper for the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Like, I know that was one of the ways you said that people could help out and volunteer, and like, what would that exactly entail specifically for the diving deeper?
Sure. So if you attend that, with your kids, then it's, doing activities at the table. If you would like to be one of the leaders, as always, Greta and I will prepare all the lessons ahead of time for those leaders. So the meaty content part will be coming out in video. And so if you wanted to lead in-person sessions, that would be, you know, explaining the interactive activity that we're doing, maybe leading some get to know you questions that we can do, or, you know, activities that we can do while safely distant. So it'd be, you know, it's 30 minutes long. So, you know, leading portions of that 30 minutes, Greta, at least probably Greta or I, maybe both of us will be present too. So yeah, I think we'll be well staffed, but we would love to have more people leading.
Okay, so you guys will be there as well. So it's more to assist and support you in that.
Yes.
Okay.
What we're planning on doing for our in-person events is hiring an hourly person that can do the check-in piece for us, just like we do, you know, in non-COVID times. We have someone that we hire to do check-in. So that really allows Greta and I and whoever's, you know, leading or teaching that day to be really present. And since it is a big room, we might be able to spread out. We have purchased some really, hopefully, we haven't tried them yet, but we purchased some equipment that I think will be helpful. We have a portable speaker and a microphone so we can make sure that everybody can hear. And we also purchased one of those document cameras that will hook directly into our large TV monitors. So if we're telling a story or showing something, that hopefully most of the room will be able to see it while still sitting kind of far away. And if we find we need more equipment, we have some budget for that.
Hi, I have a question.
Sure, thanks, Carolyn.
So the walk option,
Mhm.
I'm kind of interested, we're interested in that as a family, but how would the volunteer, if we wanted to help out with that, how would that work?
Sure. I think this one is meant to be really simple and simple and easy is the goal of this, because enjoying God in creation is, often all that we need to do to find our center and peace. So the idea would be that, so Greta and I will have a short prayer or devotion for the day, just a couple minutes long. So the leader would read that and then provide the discussion prompt, and then say, everyone go walk and enjoy. So it would be pretty no fuss, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that could be something that people rotated leading as well. This is our prayer walk, and we can easily just send out the reading and the discussion prompt to to whoever, to the whole group, and then you all can sort of organically decide who reads that day as well. But it would be nice to have a leader who can also report back if Greta or I is not able to be there, which may be most of the time. So that would be really great to just, if there's any problems or any questions or anything we should be aware of, someone that can report back and say, oh, it went well, or oh, we need to work on this, or whatever that might be.
Christine, can you talk a little bit about like changes in the schedule due to weather, how people will be notified?
Oh yes, thank you, Greta. Greta has all the good frequently asked questions. So we will follow what the pastoral staff chooses for worship. So if Bill or Katie or Joe is preaching on Sunday morning at 8:30, they're trying to make the call pretty early in the morning about weather, like 6 a.m. or something. So I think you would receive an email by 8:30 at the very latest. I would aim for closer to 7:30 or 8 o'clock that said we're moving indoors. And I think we'll see, but I think with our, we're registering advance for what we're interested in. So I'm hoping that those groups probably will be about the size of capacity that we have. So we maybe don't need to register for indoors, but I have to see how those numbers, every week you don't have to register for indoors. Once you're registered, you have a spot if you choose to take it. There will be, if we do move indoors, then we have a form that has, that we're using indoors but not outdoors, about symptoms that people answer, the same thing you're seeing at hairstylists and all of that. Have you been exposed? And, those kinds of questions, we require those indoors but not outdoors. So if we move indoors, maybe come a little early, and that form will be online too. Y'all are asking great questions. And it just, it's very exciting to think that fall is here and there are some good options. Maybe not the ones we would have chosen 6 months ago, but we do have some good options. So I'm happy about that. I see Froggy McRollykin. That's another blessing of COVID-19 is I've gotten to meet all the kids' pets and see them online. It's been fun. Any other questions? I am happy to answer any more, or you can email them, or Diana or Greta. And I don't think I mentioned, Diana is the chair of Children's Ministry. So thank you for being here, Diana. Thank you for being our fearless leader. She is always our champion. And yeah, just generally just amazing to work with all the time. So thank you, Diana.
Oh, well, thank you, Christine. You always inspire me, and I am so impressed by your just offerings and your ability to adapt and pivot and just be flexible and humble, and just, you're inspiring. So I'm really happy to work with you, and thanks for all of you for being on the call and being supportive and being engaged. And I hope to see you all at some point in person or online. It's exciting.
It is exciting. Thank you, Diana. It is truly a team effort, and it brings me great joy to be able to be a part of your kids' lives and to know all of you. So I will stay on a few minutes, but I will say enjoy your evenings. We continue to pray mightily as school continues to, it's still only the first week for many of you. So we are praying, and just wish you all the best this week and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Take care.
Thanks.
Christine, I had one question. You didn't mention Christopher House. Is that because that's not part of Children's Ministry? That's part of the other thing, or are we not doing that this year?
Right. So we, Christopher House, so what has traditionally happened, oh, sorry.
Yeah, I specifically mean Christopher House Christmas.
Oh, yes. So yes, Christopher House Christmas, as far as I know, is still happening, but
Okay.
that is led by outreach. So the things we listed on the slide were just our children's ministry sort of outreach that coordinates with the larger big outreach. So as far as I know, Christopher House is still very much in need, and you will be hearing about that.
Awesome. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christine, and thank you all for hosting tonight.
Yep. Thank you. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Greta and Diana and Katie. I think that was good. Oh, you might be muted.
Is Katie
Yeah, it was good.
Yes,